What's up, guys? We're back with a full slate of MLB action here on Monday, April 21st. We're going to break down every MLB game on the slate. We're also going to look at both NBA playoff games. We're going to look at bets on the side and over-under, and make sure you're checking that pinned comment throughout the day to see if there are any changes as injury news and starters are confirmed. Do me a big favor, guys. Slam that like button. It's free, helps me a ton, and shows your appreciation for all the hard work we're putting into these videos every single day. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. That'll help keep you from missing our daily videos. Comment below with any bets you're looking to take or any other feedback you have for me, and I will personally respond. No recap today, guys. We are just going to hop straight into the video and get things started off fresh on this Monday. We hit some props, we missed some props, we hit some lines, we missed some lines. Our little Easter vacation is over, and we are back hitting it hard every single day. All of our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC picks. Major League Baseball is off to a great start to the year. Right out of the gate through the first 20-ish games, things are looking very, very good over there at Stump the Spread. So definitely get over there. Consider signing up for a premium package. Also, check out all of our exclusive free picks that are posted over there. Our free-to-use bet size calculators. All that kind of good stuff is over there for you absolutely free of charge. But way more important than that, get on our free email list. You get free picks straight to your inbox every single day. No run first inning parlays get thrown in there very often, almost every day. Like a lot of very good free information on there. And it doesn't just cover baseball, guys. It covers all kinds of different sports. So definitely check that out. And if you're a huge fan of what we're doing here every day, you can sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Channel members are eligible for our members only giveaway, which we are going to roll for tomorrow. It's a little bit late, guys. We're recording, getting home from a day of travel, coming back from Easter. So definitely get in there, and we will be rolling for that free Stump the Spread hoodie that will be given away to one channel member tomorrow in tomorrow's videos. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the day. We're going to start off with the baseball slate. We're looking at the Chicago White Sox going on the road to take on the Boston Red Sox in a very, very early morning game here on Monday. This will be game 4 of this series, and we see the White Sox actually grabbing the 8-4 win in game 3 there. So impressive stuff, I guess, by the White Sox, but a terrible season overall. They're 5-16 on the year. No major shock to see them struggling. Now, someone who's not necessarily struggling for them right now is young Jonathan Cannon. He's 0-2 on the season. Obviously, that's not great, but his last outing looked very, very good. His best outing of the season by far. Now, the White Sox did end up losing this game, but Bro went 4 1/3 innings, gave up 3 hits and no runs while striking out 4 and walking 2. So definitely a step in the right direction after a couple of rocky outings for him, but we're generally liking this direction from Jonathan Cannon. Like I said, the dude's only 24 years old, so we're not expecting miracles. We're obviously not expecting miracles from that White Sox bullpen, although they haven't been as bad this season as they were last year, but they're still pretty bad. They're bottom like 10 or something like that in the majors. So yeah, not a good bullpen. The offense has been the main problem. Obviously, you know, they're coming off of putting up 8 runs. I'm sure that feels great, but they are dead last in the majors in runs scored, dead last in batting average. You guys kind of see where this is going. So we'll see what they can do here in game 4 against the Red Sox. We come into this one only 12-11 on the season. Not exactly killing it. They've actually fared kind of bad against the White Sox. They lost 2 out of 3 against them only like a week or something like that ago. So yeah, not having a great time. Hitting the ball to Walker Buehler in this one. Young guy, I mean, I guess not that young anymore. Man, I'm feeling old right now saying that. He's off to a 2-1 start, a 5.23 ERA. His first couple starts of the season, not so great, struggling against the Rangers and the Cardinals, but then very good starts over his last 2. A nice start there against Toronto, and then at Tampa Bay his last time out, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs allowed. He did give up a home run in that game, but overall, we're pretty happy with how he's throwing the ball, and now he gets to go up against the White Sox, one of the worst offenses in baseball, so that definitely helps. The Red Sox bullpen has been a big problem, guys. They are actually just a hair worse than the White Sox bullpen so far this year in terms of bullpen ERA, so that's something to keep an eye on. The offense has been much better than the White Sox offense, no doubt about that. The Red Sox are actually 5th in the major leagues in runs scored, 11th in on-base percentage. Guys like Trevor Story off to a very nice start. Alex Bregman off to a good start. So this team has a chance to be pretty decent up there at the plate, but they've been wildly inconsistent. So we'll see what happens in this one. The odds makers are huge on the Red Sox here. No major shock there. They're minus 275. The White Sox are plus 230. We've got a total of 9 out there. So a couple bets that I think are decent on this game. Kind of unlikely to go in the pinned comment. I mean, the White Sox are 1-8 on the road, 5-4 to the under on the road. Boston 6-4 at home, and a 500 over/under team at home. I'm going to be leaning a bit towards the under in this game. I think under in the first 5 is a very, very solid lean. These guys are playing a very early game. I don't think that favors the hitters at all. I don't really know if it's favorite, like which starter's going to have a great time out there, but I would tend to lean a bit towards the under in the first 5. You could even talk me into something crazy like the White Sox in the first 5 potentially, because I am liking what I'm seeing from Jonathan Cannon. But overall, guys, this game is kind of a stay away spot for me. If you're asking me for a generic play on it, I'll side with under 9, but this isn't going anywhere near the pinned comment. Next up, guys, in a normal evening game, we've got the New York Yankees going on the road to take on the Cleveland Guardians. The Yankees just won 3 out of 4 there at Tampa Bay, so they come into this one feeling pretty good at 14-8 on the season. Handing the ball to Clark Schmidt, he hasn't figured in a result this season, a 4.76 ERA. He's only made 1 start, and that was against the Royals. He went 4 2/3 innings, gave up 4 hits and 3 earned runs. No home runs in that outing, so that probably feels good. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, so nothing special necessarily, but a solid outing, kept his team in the game, and they eventually did come away with a 4-3 win in that one. So we'll see what he can do here against Cleveland, a team that's coming off an extra inning game yesterday, so maybe they're a little bit tired. They're going to have to travel from Pittsburgh to Cleveland, so nothing too crazy there. The Yankees bullpen comes into this game looking very, very solid. What are they, top 6, top 7 in the majors, a 3.32 bullpen ERA. Nothing to be concerned about there, and they've been playing some really good ball recently. Now, the offense hasn't exactly been on fire. They've scored 4, 8, 0, 6, and 4 runs over the last few games, so it's fine. We're seeing Eric Judge come back to earth a little bit. He's batting .390 still with 7 home runs and 25 RBIs, so yeah, not exactly falling off a cliff here, but overall, the numbers are getting a little bit more human. The Yankees are still 2nd in the majors in runs scored, 2nd in the majors in on-base percentage, and 1st in slugging percentage, so a lot of positives across the board for the Yankees. They're going to be taking on a Guardians team that's 12-9 on the season. They just swept the Pirates, getting the win there on that sacrifice fly in the 10th inning. You had to get over the top there and secure the sweep, so they're probably pretty stoked about that. They're handing the ball to Gavin Williams in this game, who's 1-1 on the year, a 4.58 ERA. His last start, he got shelled by the Baltimore Orioles, though, and not a great look. Now, that was by far his worst start of the season. He's got solid starts against the Royals, Angels, and White Sox under his belt, but giving up 5 earned runs over 6 2/3 against the Orioles isn't a great look. Now, those were kind of on a couple mistake pitches. He gave up 2 home runs, so we'll see if he bounces back, see if that bullpen for Cleveland can kind of pull itself back together. They're all the way down to, 12th or something like that, 10th in the majors. A 3.48 bullpen ERA is not what this, team has in mind, but I think they're going to be just fine out there. The real question for this team is, generally speaking, going to be their offense. Steven Kwan still doing his thing at the top of the order. Manzardo off to a pretty good start, 6 home runs and 16 RBIs. Yeah, Kyle doing his thing out there, but he's only batting .212. The problem is, overall, not looking great. 22nd in the majors in runs scored and 11th in slugging percentage. So you can see how there are kind of some disconnects. So we'll see what this team can do. Looking at the numbers, we see the Yankees are -120. The Guardians are +106. We've got a total of 8.5. The Yankees 6-4 on the road, 4-4-2 to the over-under on the road. Cleveland 5-1 at home, 4-2 to the under at home. So there's been a big trend this season so far towards the home team being where you want to be, and that's kind of been the case pretty aggressively. In this game, thanks to seeing, Gavin Williams struggling against Baltimore's last time out, I'm probably going to side with the Yankees here at -120 on the road. Clark Schmidt threw the ball pretty well in his first start, but I'm a little bit worried, so this is just going to be more of a lean than a play that's going to end up in the pinned comment, or at least that's what I'm thinking now, but we'll have to wait and see. Next up, we're looking at the Cincinnati Reds going on the road to take on the Miami Marlins. The Reds come into this game 500 on the year, 11-11, but they are fresh off one of the biggest blowouts in modern MLB history. They won 24-2 at Baltimore their last time out. They won 2 out of 3 in that series also, but that's pretty wild stuff to put up 24 runs. That's nuts. You're not going to see that every day. So the Reds bats red hot coming into this one. They're handing the ball to Nick Lodolo in this game. He's looking pretty solid out there. He did miss a game for paternity leave, so that's exciting, and maybe a sign that he's in for a good outing here. Congratulations to him for just having a baby. His last start was against Seattle. That didn't go so well, but maybe he's in a bounce back spot, and except for that one start, he's looked lights out this season. So expecting a bounce back here from Lodolo, who's going to have all those good, the good juices will be flowing for him. I'm also expecting this Reds bullpen to continue to do its thing. A 3.33 bullpen ERA is obviously excellent. And the bats, guys, obviously we can't look at the season-long numbers now because they are insanely skewed after putting up a 24 spot there at Baltimore. But we've seen some good stuff from this team recently. I mean, 5, 8, 7, 3, and 8 runs over the last few is for sure respectable. Gavin Lux off to a good start. Ellie De La Cruz doing his thing out there. The batting average came up quite a bit. but still, we need to see this over a full season. So we'll see what they can do here going up against the Marlins, who are 9-12 on the year. They did manage to squeeze out one win there at the Phillies in that 3-game series, but it's looked a little bit bleak recently. They're hitting the ball to Max Meyer, hoping he can get them back on track, and he's off to a good start for sure. 1-2 on the season, but a 2.63 ERA is nothing to be embarrassed about. His last start was against Arizona. He went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits and 3 earned runs. Gave up a couple of home runs, but also struck out 8. So you got to take the good with the bad there. That's not what I would term a horrible start by any stretch. And he's looked good. He hasn't given up more than 3 earned runs in any start so far this season. So liking overall what we're seeing from Max Meyer. Now the bullpen situation there for the Marlins, I would say it's a little bit below average. A 4.32 bullpen ERA doesn't exactly fill me with optimism, and it's not like they've been holding offenses in check recently. Now, their offense for the Marlins has scored 7, 10, 2, 4, and 2 runs over their last few games. Something that I think will be a problem in the long term. I mean, they're right now 18th in the majors in runs scored and 3rd in batting average, but those are certainly not numbers that I expect to continue to see over the course of the year. So looking at the numbers here, we see the Reds as, favorites. They're -130. The Marlins are +110. We've got totals showing out there of 8 or 7.5. The Reds are 5-5 on the road, 6-4 to the over on the road. Miami 6-7 at home, 9-4 to the over on the road. So are we going to take over in this game? I can't really see that as being a great play with these two pitchers on the mound. I do think you could interest me in the Reds at -130 if it wasn't for the fact they were coming off that massive blowout win. So yeah, it's just kind of a weird spot for Cincinnati, coming off of such an odd outlier performance. I am going to side with them at -130 just a little bit. I like the odds of Lodolo having an excellent start. I think this could be a very reasonable no-run first inning game as well, so you could maybe take that as a possibility, but right now just give me the Reds at -130 as a small lean. Next up, guys, we're looking at the San Diego Padres going on the road to take on the Detroit Tigers. The Padres come into this game 16-6 on the season, off to a blistering start. Now, they did just lose 2 out of 3 at Houston, so, slowing down a little bit, but things are looking pretty good. Pretty darn good there for the Padres. They're handing the ball to Randy Vasquez, who comes into this one 1-1 on the season, but a 1.74 ERA. Definitely throwing the ball well this season. He hasn't faced a ton of, incredibly tough teams. His last start was against the Cubs. He went 5 innings, gave up 7 hits, only a single earned run. He hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in any start this year, so a lot of positives for him overall this season. And the Padres have to be very stoked with what they're seeing now and really just hoping that he can do this over, a big sample size. But another thing they've got to be very stoked about and hoping will happen over a big sample size is their bullpen being so insanely lights out. The Padres bullpen is tops in the majors right now, a 1.57 bullpen ERA. Absolutely insane stuff. Can that continue? Seems unlikely, but I don't know. We'll be seeing. I mean, now can this Fernando Tatis tear that he's going on at the plate continue? Bro's batting nearly .360 with 8 home runs and 16 RBIs. That is looking absolutely just bonkers. Crazy pants stuff. They're 12th in the majors in runs scored, 1st in batting average and 1st in on-base percentage, though, so those numbers could go even higher. The offense spluttered a little bit against Houston, scoring 3, 2, 4, and then 4 runs in their last game of their series against the Cubs. So they're definitely a little bit of a bounce back spot here against the Detroit Tigers, who are 13-9 on the season. They just won 3 out of 4 against the Royals, which has to feel pretty nice. They lost in extra innings in their final game there, but overall, I don't think they're too disappointed. They're hitting the ball to Keeter Montero, who's 0-1 this year, an ERA of 9 after getting absolutely shelled in his first start of the season back on the 16th. Did not have a good time there at Milwaukee. 5 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs. He gave up 3 home runs in that game. Now, he did strike out 8, so he had some good strikeout stuff, but he was leaving some across the plate, and it was not looking great. So definitely room for concern there about Detroit. Now, the bullpen for the Tigers has been excellent. A 3.04 bullpen ERA has them 5th in the majors right now. So that's not a problem, but the starting pitching situation is looking a little bit tough, at least in this one. The offense looked good there against Kansas City. I mean, 3, 3, 7, and 6 runs respectively over those 4 games is cool. Spencer Torkelson off to a great start. 7 home runs, 21 RBIs for him. Kerry Carpenter also hitting the ball well. The Tigers are 10th in the majors in runs scored. They are 11th in batting average, but 18th in slugging and 12th in on-base percentage. I just don't really 100% see these numbers sticking around for the for the length of the season. So we'll see what happens. See if the Tigers offense really can hold on. The odds makers like them in this one. The Padres are +110. The Tigers are -130. We've got a total of 8.5 out there. The Padres are 4-5 on the road, so not terrible. 5-4 to the over on the road. Detroit is 8-2 at home. 5-3-2 to the under at home. Now, when we look at who they've played at home, they've played the Yankees, the White Sox. That White Sox series obviously doesn't look super tough. So we'll see what goes on here, guys. But I'm leaning towards the Padres getting plus money here pretty aggressively. Randy Vasquez is a very solid starter. We've loved what we've seen from the Padres offense overall. Keter Montero did not look sharp in his first outing of the season. Even if he looks a bit better here, like, can we really expect them to, like, just go nuts out there? So I definitely think the Padres at plus 110 is a good play in this game. And I also think the under 8.5 is pretty live. Like, Montero could have a better, something of a bounce back outing. I think he's a solid pitcher, but he's a young guy, so, you expect some ups and downs. So I would lean a bit towards the under with two very good bullpens out there, but I think the Padres as the side is my favorite play on this game. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Philadelphia Phillies going on the road to take on the New York Mets. The Phillies come into this game 13-9 on the year. They just won 2 out of 3 against the Marlins. Losing that last game probably doesn't feel ideal, but they're, they've got things pointing back in the right direction. They're handing the ball to Aaron Nola in this game, hoping that he can get things figured out. He's 0-4 this year with a 6.65 ERA, and yeah, things didn't look great his last time out. He went, that was a home start against San Francisco. He went 5 1/3 innings, gave up 9 hits, 7 runs, 6 of which were earned. He struck out 4 and walked 8, and he struck out at least 4 in each of his last 2 outings, both of which were losses there for the Phillies. The other one was a 2-0 loss. He gave up both those earned runs against the Cardinals. He had a mediocre start against the Dodgers, a terrible start to start the year against the Nationals. Like, just not a lot of positives coming out of 31-year-old Aaron Nola. Like, it's concerning when you see a guy that's supposed to be this good struggling out of the gate. So we'll see if he can turn it around, see if that Phillies bullpen can turn things around. They are second to last in the majors. A 5.81 bullpen ERA is, to be honest, kind of embarrassing for a team that's supposed to be trying to be a contender right now. Now, the offense is figuring it out. I mean, they've scored 5, 11, 7, and 6 runs over their last few. Schwarber continues to hit the ball well. Castellanos continues to hit the ball well. Marsh going to the IL, with that hamstring issue, might be a net positive for the offense at the moment. They're 8th in runs scored, 8th in batting average, 3rd in on-base percentage, but the slugging percentage numbers are way down. So I'm a little bit worried about the Phillies at the plate here as they go on the road to take on the New York Mets, who just swept the St. Louis Cardinals in a 4-game series. Embarrassing stuff there for St. Louis. The Mets at 15-7 have to be pretty happy with the direction things are headed at the moment. They're hitting the ball to Taylor Megill, who comes into this game 2-2, a 1.40 ERA. His last start, he gave up a couple of earned runs on 8 hits at the Twins. So not the best look. They did lose that game 6-3. So he's trying to step up here and keep them in, on the right track. Will he be able to do that against this Phillies team? Seems like kind of a tall task. I don't think he's faced an offense quite that good yet this season. So we'll see if he can turn things around after a rough start his last time out. That Mets bullpen has been headed in the right direction for sure. A 2.27 bullpen ERA is 3rd best in the majors. So that's obviously excellent. The offense figuring things out as well. 7, 3, 5, and 4 runs in that series against the Cardinals. Pete Alonso absolutely on fire to open the year, batting nearly .350 with 6 home runs and 24 RBIs. Now, that all being said, the Mets are only 19th in the majors in runs scored and 19th in on-base percentage. So maybe we should be a little bit worried if this offense has the legs to keep on doing this. But we'll see what happens. Looking at the numbers, the Phillies are plus 100. The Mets are minus 120. We've got a total of 8 out there. The Phillies are 4-5 on the road, 6-3 to the under on the road. The Mets 9-1 at home. Kind of crazy. 7-3 to the under at home. So looking at the numbers, guys, I would shade maybe a little bit towards over 8. I think we'll see some offense in this game. Obviously, with a terrible Phillies bullpen, that definitely helps. Now, the Mets bullpen is very good, so maybe they just cancel each other out a little bit. But, I mean, I'm not in love with either starter. So, yeah, definitely give me a look at over 8. I also think this is a good spot to just go ahead and take the Mets. They're a red-hot team. I know they've won 4 in a row, but I'm not loving what I'm seeing from the Phillies right now. They're losing games to teams like the Marlins. So, yeah, give me a little taste of the Mets at minus 120 and a little taste of that over. Next up, guys, we're looking at those St. Louis Cardinals we were just talking about going on the road to take on the Atlanta Braves. The Cardinals trying to snap that 4-game losing streak they acquired there in New York. Not a great look there. They're handing the ball to Eric Feedy, who's been off to a great start. 1-2 this season, a 3.43 ERA. He's had 1 bad start this year. He's had 3 excellent starts, 1 bad one there where he got roughed up at Fenway. But his last time out, 6 innings, 6 hits, only a single earned run allowed in what eventually was a 2-0 loss there for the St. Louis Cardinals. So he's doing what he can to keep them in games, but it's not not going to be enough if the offense puts up no runs. The Cardinals bullpen also kind of fallen off a cliff. A 4.64 bullpen ERA doesn't fill me with optimism. The offense had been good. Not a very good series there, though, against the Mets. 4-0, 4, and 1 run, respectively, over that 4-game series. Brendan Donovan off to a good start, but the Cardinals, despite being 6th in the majors in runs scored and 2nd in batting average, these numbers are falling, guys. They're 7th in on-base percentage, 9th in slugging percentage. Like, I just don't necessarily think this team has the talent to be where they're to remain where they've been at here in the early goings in terms of offense. And once that goes away, the wheels are going to fall off. Now, we'll see what they do against the Atlanta Braves, another team off to a pretty bad start, 8-13 on the year. Now, they did just sweep the Twins, so it seems like they're turning things around, something that was, fairly predictable to eventually happen. They're hitting the ball to Spencer Schwellenbach, who's been off to a very good start in the early goings. You got to be pretty pumped if you're a Braves fan. You see your 24-year-old starter coming out of the gates just looking so good. He's 1-1, a 2.55 ERA. Now, he did finally have a hiccup of a start. He had a very bad time there against Toronto. It was at Toronto, which can be a weird place to pitch, and 4 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 6 earned runs, gave up a couple of home runs as well. So a huge bounce back spot here for him against, a pretty bad offense. And the last time he faced a bad offense, I'm going to say that was probably Miami. He went 8 innings, gave up 2 hits, and struck out 10 while walking 0 and giving up no runs. So we'll see if he can replicate that, see if the Atlanta Braves bullpen can do much, much better than what we've seen in the early goings. Now, it's headed in the right direction. A 3.73 bullpen ERA is improvement for them, but not obviously, among the elite teams in the majors. The offense kind of figured things out, 6, 4, and 6 runs respectively. Ozuna hitting the ball well. Austin Riley kind of crushing with 5 home runs here in their early goings. They're 26th in the majors in runs scored. They're 17th in the majors in batting average. So yeah, there's reason for concern about the Braves, but going up against the Cardinals, they're probably not too terrified. But going up against Fede is a little bit rough. Looking at the numbers here, the Cardinals are plus 155, the Braves are minus 190. We've got a total of 8.5. The Cardinals are only 1-9 on the road, 6-3-1 to the over on the road. Atlanta's 6-2 at home, 4-3-1 to the under at home. I think this is a very good spot to take under 8.5, to be honest. I mean, we only saw the Braves went over in their last series one time. The Cardinals in their last series went over twice, and that was mostly because the Mets were scoring runs, not the Cardinals. So, yeah, I think this is a good spot to take under 8.5. Fede's been very good. He's in a bounce-back spot, though, and we also see Schwellenbach in a bounce... Or no, Fede's not in a bounce-back spot. Fede's just been throwing the ball great. But Schwellenbach's in a bounce-back spot, and this is a good time to do that against the Cardinals. So, yeah, definitely give me under 8.5 in this one. A very good chance to make the pinned comment. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Toronto Blue Jays going on the road to take on the Houston Astros. The Blue Jays come into this game 12-10 on the season. They just lost 2 out of 3 against Seattle, so yeah, falling back a little bit. That's not what they're looking for. They're hitting the ball to Kevin Gausman, hoping he can, stem the tide. And he's 2-1 this year, a 2.49 ERA, and he's fresh off a good start against Atlanta. 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs allowed. Now they were both solo home runs. Now the control has been off the charts recently for Gausman. I mean, honestly, he's struck out 16 combined over his last 2 games and walked 0. So pretty dominant stuff. We'll see if he can continue. And yeah, he's faced some pretty tough teams. I mean, he's pitched against Baltimore, the Mets, the Red Sox, and now Atlanta to start his year. So now he gets to go up against Houston. Maybe that's a little bit of a, an easier outing. Now, the bullpen for Toronto has looked much better this year. A 3.44 bullpen ERA is excellent. The offense has been struggling. 3, 4, and 3 runs against Seattle. Going to need to be better than that. George Springer still off to a good start, but they're tied for 20th in the majors in runs scored. This might be something that heads in the right direction, though, because, yeah, they're 4th in the majors in batting average and 6th in on-base percentage. So definitely reason for excitement here heading forward if you're, a Toronto Blue Jays fan. So we'll see what they can do against the Astros, who are 10-11 this year. They just won 2 out of 3 against the Padres, which is kind of a big deal. They're hitting the ball to young Hunter Brown, who's 2-1 this year, a 1.50 ERA, and he's just been looking lights out start after start. He dominated the Cardinals his last time out, 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs allowed, walked 2 and struck out 4. Start for that, very similar against Seattle, 6 innings, 2 hits, struck out 3, allowed no runs, and walked none. He's been lights out. There's no way around it. The young guy's looking really, really good out there. So expecting big stuff from Hunter Brown in this game, even though he's going up against a pretty good Toronto team. The bullpen for Houston has also been very, very good, way above average. 4th in the majors, a 2.87 bullpen ERA. Now the offense. The offense has been a problem here. They've scored 2, 3, and 6 runs respectively. That's not great. They're 23rd in the majors in runs scored, 27th in slugging percentage, 24th in batting average, batting .222 as a team. Nobody hitting the ball well except for Altuve. So not loving what we're seeing for Houston. The numbers for this game, Toronto's plus 120 despite Gausman on the mound. The Astros are minus 140 thanks to Hunter Brown being on the mound. We've got a total of 7.5. Toronto's 4-5 on the road, 6-2-1 to the under on the road. Houston, 6-6 at home, 7-5 to the under at home. So maybe even with a total here of only 7.5, this is a good spot to look at the under because both pitching staffs are in great shape for these games. Now, is that going to go in the pinned comment? I would say under 7.5 probably not, but I do think this is a pretty decent spot. Also, to look at the Toronto Blue Jays getting plus 120. I know it's another road team. We don't love being on road teams right now in the MLB, but I just think the Blue Jays, having a very good starter on the mound and a serviceable bullpen and an offense that's been much better than Houston's, could steal a road win here in Game 1 of this series. In our last baseball game of the day, we're looking at the Milwaukee Brewers going on the road to take on the San Francisco Giants. The Brewers, 12-10 to start the year. They just won 2 out of 3 there against the Athletics, winning 14-1 there in their last game of that series. So that had to feel pretty good. They're going to be handing the ball to Quinn Priester, and he is off to a great start. 1-0, a 0.90 ERA. He's made 2 starts now. He dominated the Rockies coming out of the gate, and then a very good start there against the Tigers. 5 innings, 1 hit, no runs allowed. He did walk 3 and strike out 4, but that was a 5-0 win there for the Milwaukee Brewers. So I'm sure they feel very, very good about that. I'm sure they also feel pretty mediocre about that bullpen. Bullpen ERA of over 5 is a big problem to be addressed at some point this season. The offense, obviously coming off scoring 14 runs, has to feel pretty good, but on the season, can we get super pumped about them? I mean, they're 21st in the majors in slugging percentage and 14th in on-base percentage, so probably not time to really freak out too much. Now, Jackson Chourio is off to a very good start, but really, I'm a little bit worried about this offense for the Brewers. But we'll see what they do here against the Giants, who got off to a just crazy start, but things have gotten a little bit rough. They just lost 2 out of 3 there at the Angels. They went 2-2 in a 4-game series there at the Phillies. So time to maybe get back on track for them. They're handing the ball to Robbie Ray. He's 3-0 to start the year, a 4.19 ERA. His last start, he gave up 4 earned runs on 6 hits over 4 innings at the Phillies, and eventually the Giants just gave him enough run support. They won the game 11-4. The Giants are 4-0 in his starts. They scored 11, 9, 4, and 6 runs in those starts, respectively. So pretty interesting stuff there. We'll see what Robbie Ray can do. We'll see if this Giants bullpen can continue what they've done in the early goings. Second in the majors, a 2.22 bullpen ERA. Obviously, pretty nuts stuff there. The offense hitting a bump in the road, guys. 4-3 and 0 runs in their series against the Angels. Young-Hoo Lee's numbers falling a little bit. Wilmer Flores' numbers falling a little bit. They are sitting in 4th in the majors in runs scored still, though, but that's a number that's going to slow way down as they are 22nd in the majors, batting .224 as a team, and 21st in the majors with an on-base percentage of just over 300. So those are some of my concerns there for the Giants, who are big favorites in this game. They're minus 148. The Brewers are plus 124. We've got a total of 8 out there. Milwaukee's 3-6 on the road, 5-3-1 to the under on the road. San Francisco's 4-2 at home and a 500 over-under team at home. I don't want to do this, really, guys. I'm not going to lie, but I think we're backing Quinn Priester and the Brewers here. I think the Giants' offense due for some more, negative regression, and I think we're going to see the Brewers at plus 124 be the much better value, and Quinn Priester continue to throw the ball well. So, give me the Brewers on the road here in Game 1 of this series, but I'm a little bit scared. Now, guys, hopping over to this 2-game NBA slate, we got a couple playoff games out there, and first up, we're looking at the Detroit Pistons going on the road here for Game 2 of their series against the New York Knicks. In Game 1, it was pretty incredible stuff, guys. The Knicks went on a 21-0 run there in the fourth quarter to eventually beat the Pistons 123-112. Now, we were on the Knicks minus 7.5, I believe it was, in that game, and we do end up cashing that bet, but man, I felt like we maybe didn't quite deserve to, although I would argue that a 21-0 run at any point in the game probably proves that the Knicks were the better team overall. Loved what we saw from Brunson in that game there for New York, obviously, but we're looking at the Pistons side first, and the things that went wrong for the Pistons in their first playoff game and what feels like an eternity, we really didn't love what we saw out there from Cade Cunningham. It wasn't terrible. He was only a -6. He put up 21 points and had 12 assists, but his shooting numbers were very inefficient. 1 of 4 from 3 and 8 of 21 from the field overall. That's just not going to exactly get the job done. He's got to knock down more shots, and he got some decent help out there, to be honest. I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. had a decent night, and more impressively, guys, Tobias Harris came out and was a monster. 25 points, 4 of 5 from 3, 8 of 13 from the field. Now, he was a -16, so that tells you his defense might not have been great necessarily, but it wasn't awful. Neither was Malik Beasley. He made 6 out of his 12 threes in that game for 20 points, but he was also a -9, and it just felt like the Pistons didn't have a lot of answers out there for the Knicks defensively. Now, the rebounding numbers were pretty much even. That has to feel good for Detroit. They stayed in the game mostly, obviously having a significant lead there at different portions, but yeah, just not able to hold on there in the fourth quarter. And maybe this is just a case of a team that's not used to being in the playoffs. Maybe they're just a little bit nervous out there. we'll see if they can bounce back here. We do see Isaiah Stewart there on the injury report. He's listed right now as questionable for this game with that knee issue. I would pretty much expect him to go, and they could use him out there. I mean, he had 19 fairly productive minutes. He was actually a +8 in his 19 minutes, had 5 rebounds, 1 assist, a couple of blocks, 5 fouls. Yeah, 5 fouls in 19 minutes and a couple of points scored. So they could use him, and they could use him out there a little bit longer. Now, the Pistons did shoot 47% from 3 in this game. A big concern to shoot that well and end up eventually losing. So we'll see what they can do here against the Knicks, who have to be stoked with what happened out there, obviously, down the stretch. Jalen Brunson going bonkers. 34 points from him, 23 points from Karl Anthony Towns, 23 points from OG Anunoby. Now, and the bench even came up big, too. Cameron Payne with some huge minutes. He shot, what was it? Yeah, 3 of 5 from 3, 14 points. He was +23 in his time on the floor. Like, that was pretty crazy. You can kind of trust Cam Payne to come out and have one crazy playoff game. Can he have more than one? We'll have to wait and see. It's definitely not impossible. In terms of the injury report for the Knicks, there is nobody on there at all. Mitchell Robinson also had a big putback dunk in that game. So, yeah, we'll see what happens here in Game 2. The numbers for this one, the Knicks are significant favorites. Again, they're 6.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 221.5. Detroit, 23-17-2 against the spread on the road, 22-18-2 to the over on the road. The Knicks, 22-19-1 against the spread at home, 23-19 to the over at home. Now, in Game 1 of this series, guys, we obviously saw, a pretty high-scoring game. 235 total points. So could we lean towards the over once again? Well, I don't know if these teams are going to shoot the ball as well, but 221.5 seems like a small number, so I will go ahead and lean towards the over in this one. In terms of a side, I'm flip-flopping. I think the Pistons know that they can hang with the Knicks. They can play a lot better down the stretch than they did. I think we'll see Cade play better. So, yeah, go ahead and give me the Pistons here, getting 6.5 points. I think that's some pretty solid value. Now, will that go in the pinned comment? Maybe not. We may be in a little bit of a wait-and-see mode, see which way the numbers are going to sway for this one, because we may be able to get the Pistons at like +7.5 if we're lucky. So this might be a little bit of a wait-and-see spot, but I definitely think the Pistons and the points is the play. Now, guys, let's hop into our last game of the video. Our last game of the night, we're looking at the LA Clippers going on the road to take on the Denver Nuggets in Game 2 of their series. Now, Game 1 was obviously an absolute barn burner in maybe the weirdest way you could ever have imagined there for the Nuggets, who eventually come away with the 112-110 overtime win, thanks in a huge part to some clutch, deep shot making from Russell Westbrook and some clutch defensive plays. Now, is that always going to happen out there for Denver or for Westbrook? Seems a bit unlikely to me. We're going to go ahead and dive into the Clippers side of this game first. And yeah, the Clippers probably not that disappointed with how they played, to be honest. They put themselves in a position to win on the road in Game 1 at Denver, so that's not a bad thing. Pushed it to overtime, and they lost due to a guy doing a thing that he's historically not great at. So yeah, maybe they're in good shape, and other people aren't seeing it. We saw Kawhi go for 22 points on some very efficient shooting numbers. He did miss some shots down the stretch, but overall looked very good out there. Although he did have 7 turnovers, so we'll see if he can clean that up a little bit. Zubac was huge out there, literally and figuratively. 21 points, 13 rebounds. He played really, really well. They need more of the same from him. Harden shot the ball well, 32 points. He did have 5 fouls in the game, which is a little bit of a concern, but 11 assists. Perfect from the line, made 50% of his shots on the field and 4 of 9 from 3, so that's all good. Now, the real problem was the bench. Not a lot of production coming off the pine there. I mean, Derrick Jones Jr. played well in his 24 minutes, but was a -5 and only ended up scoring 4 points. Batum did knock down 3 threes. Now, I don't think you can exactly count on old man Nicholas Batum to go out there and make half his threes all the time. I would say the big disappointments were Ben Simmons, who looked like a nightmare out there in his time on the floor, despite somehow magically being a +5, and Bogdanovich also going 0 of 3 from the field, despite his 5 rebounds, also something of a concern. So we'll see. The Clippers will see if they can run it back out there in this one. Obviously, injuries are always a concern for this team, but nothing of note on the injury report here for them. They're going to be going up against a Nuggets team that's, probably pretty pumped to have somehow escaped with a win. They can't feel like they played their best, obviously. I mean, we saw Jokic put up 29 points, 12 assists, and 9 rebounds. Kind of miraculous bro doesn't end up with a triple-double, just, based on this being an overtime game and all that, but he played well. Aaron Gordon played great, 25 points there. Jamal Murray, though, it took him 20 shots to get his 21 points. He needs to be much better. The guy that they have to, hang their hat on here is Westbrook playing amazing, putting up 15 points, being a +7 there off the bench. Now, can they count on that? Can they count on Westbrook knocking down a couple threes? I would say no, they probably cannot. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Obviously, you've got Jokic, things are usually going to work out. Michael Porter Jr. actually played terrible in the game. They need him to be much, much better, but Burrow has a track record of struggling in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens there. They did only shoot 33% from 3 and still managed to win the game. They did a good job on the boards, keeping things even. So we'll see what happens in this one, guys. The Nuggets, obviously, they come into this game with nobody except for Aaron Gordon there on the injury report, which obviously we do expect him to play. He has a calf complaint, but there's no way he won't be out there. So looking at the numbers, the odds makers have it close to a coin flip. The Nuggets are plus 1.5. We've got a total of 218.5. The Clippers, 20 and 22 against spread on the road, 22, 19 and 1 to the under on the road. Denver, 18, 23 and 1 against spread at home, 26 and 16 to the over at home. Now, in their last game, guys, we were on the over in that game, and that didn't happen despite it going into overtime. Now, we see a total in this one of 218.5. The last one was 222, despite it being an overtime game. So I'm going to be leaning here just slightly towards the under. I don't think these teams are going to shoot drastically better, but the under's not really my favorite play in this one. I actually like the Clippers here a good amount. I think Denver probably not going to get as good play from Westbrook in this game at all. And if we see Jamal Murray continue to look the way he's looked, I think they're going to have a really hard time even winning this series overall. So yeah, definitely the Clippers at minus 1.5 is the play in this game. Unfortunately, guys, that's all the games we have for today. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Don't worry, the recaps will be back in the next video. We will also roll for that free hoodie that's being given away to one lucky channel member. Let me know in the comments any questions you have about today's slate or anything else that you see here or hear me talking about. And I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to get over to stumpthespread.com. Definitely do that, guys. Get on that free email list. Tons of free information in there, free parlays, all kinds of good stuff. And we will see you all right here tomorrow for more sports betting action.